Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, you got it. You got it. Come get it over here.
Grab the bubbles. Grab the bubbles. Pop.
Grayson was born on March the 8th, 2005.
Up, 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 up.
8.
She had dysmorphic features, a weak cry.
Okay.
Good girl, Gracie.
Come on.
I was having a hard time understanding why the Lord would bless us with such a beautiful baby and then take her away from us so soon.
1, 2, 3. Push, 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 push. Yay! Good job. High five.
They came in and just said that she is a chromosomal baby, that they don't know what chromosome or how long she's going to live.
It was the beginning of what would become the battle of her life. Grayson started having seizures. She couldn't eat. And at 15 days old, she went into congestive heart failure.
The pediatrician told me that God makes some babies angels and that my baby was an angel and that she was not going to live till 6 months old.
But Grayson survived and was eventually diagnosed with a genetic disorder.
There's a piece missing in her chromosome.
Grayson began standard therapy, her parents hoping to minimize her developmental delays. But by age 3, she still couldn't walk, talk, or even crawl. STACEY began looking for alternatives and came across a magazine article on a little girl from Wisconsin who underwent an experimental therapy with great success.
Take your banana to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Meet Grace KENITZ.
Banana. Can you say banana?
Grace is 9 years old.
Great job.
She suffers from a rare mitochondrial disorder. They have similar names and similar stories.
She was on what they considered a vegetated state.
Grace spent the first 3 years of her life in the hospital with her mother, Shannon, by her side.
Her life was basically just being in a hospital, hooked up to machines. She was on over 42 different medications, a feeding tube. She was unable to sit up, talk, walk, crawl, having repeated blood transfusions. She had to be kept warm under heat lamps. She just lived a life where she was in a vegetated state. During those first 4 years of Grace's life, she had absolutely no idea that I was her mom. I mean, she didn't look at me because she was blind. She didn't know that we loved her because she didn't comprehend anything. The physicians told us to take Grace home and spend time with her as a family and to let her go because she'd been through so much.
But Shannon couldn't do it. It was her fear of Grace dying that pushed her into the world of alternative medicine.
I needed to know that I did everything in my life to help Grace, because if I had that comfort of knowing that I did everything, then it may have been easier for me to let her die.
Shannon and Grace traveled to Florida to try hyperbaric oxygen therapy.
My daughter just completely changed that first year of doing hyperbarics.
The therapy, also known as HBOT, is still considered experimental. Here's how it works. Patients sit in this pressurized chamber for about an hour. They wear a mask and breathe in 100% oxygen.
The equivalent of if you're going down to maybe about 8-10 feet of water. You're getting an increased oxygenation into the blood and other areas of the brain that might not be seeing enough oxygen flow. You're also getting decreased inflammation in the brain.
Dr. Kyle Van Dyke was a skeptic himself until a family member participated in a pilot study.
My son, who was nonverbal before hyperbarics, had horrendous GI problems with his autism. He had tremendous improvements when we did hyperbarics there, and that's what got me involved in it initially.
Studies are ongoing, but Van Dyke says the therapy may be helpful in treating a number of neurological conditions, including autism, stroke, cerebral palsy, mitochondrial disorders, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's, as well as chronic fatigue and injuries. But it's not cheap. Most insurance companies won't cover it because it's an alternative therapy. In Grace's case, Shannon began to fundraise furiously.
I literally would go to Florida, treat Grace, come back, raise more money, go to Florida, treat her, come back.
Meanwhile, Grace's story gained national attention.
Many give up hope,
Including an appearance on Montel Williams.
We have to place a feeding tube, that your daughter is going to die if we don't place a feeding tube.
Families sent Shannon letters, hundreds a month, asking for advice. So she decided to do something about it. And a year later, she opened a Place of Grace in Fitchburg as an integrative hyperbaric center. Grace continued to improve. We began following her story in late 2004, the year she started kindergarten.
My dream was fulfilled when Grace went into her classroom and had a chair with her name on it and a little cubby with her name on it.
1 year later, she surprised her mom and took her first steps at the airport as Shannon returned home from a 2-week business trip.
It's the first time I've seen it in my life ever with her just walking like a normal kid.
Today, Grace is a 4th grader.
Hey, Grace, let's get in your book.
She works daily with lifestyle and speech therapists.
Good girl.
She continues HBOT in their home and at the center. A country song now bears her name.
Grace was only 2 years old.
And they've sold the movie rights to Grace's story.
People look at Grace and they see where she was and they see where she is now. And I want that so much for every family that walks through that door.
Yay! Families like the Davidsons, who raised $9,000 and traveled here from Tennessee to give HBOT a try.
Are you ready for a trip? The first day when we walked in, Grace had just gotten out of her chamber and walked past and said hi, and I mean, it gave me chills.
Remember, Grayson couldn't even sit up when they arrived at the center.
I want to catch her up to where she's supposed to be because she has so much life to live, and I think that this is going to help her quality of life. Bye-bye.
Grayson spends an hour in the chamber twice a day.
And this little piggy head roast beef, and this little piggy
and does 10 hours of physical therapy a week. After 4 weeks, they hit a milestone.
She can sit anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes. We've been on the verge of sitting for 2 years, and for her to actually have the strength to sit up, it's just been a wonderful experience. I've never heard her say, "Mommy, I love you," or she's not ever walked to me. That will make all of this worth it.